Everybody, welcome back to the Barflies report. After a week off, due mostly to my scheduling, but I'm back here again with Coach Pete. We're going to talk about what happened in the last game and what we can expect going forward. How you doing, Pete?
I'm great, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day. Took a break from some yard work to sit here and talk baseball with you.
Excellent. Yep.
So, last game out. The score doesn't make us happy, but there were some things in there to talk about and to get excited about. And let's jump right into that game.
Mm-hmm.
You tried something new. Everybody's heard of a closer, that guy who comes in with a short memory and locks down the game. But you decided to try a different thing. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So we thought, okay, we've seen Ennepetal for 2 games leading up to this third game with them. So they've seen our starting rotation. They've seen Fabian start. They've seen Tim start, and they've seen both of them in relief mode as well. So we thought, why not bring in our closer and let him start? And worked out actually really good.
Well, I tell you, looking at the score sheet, it looked like it was pretty locked down 2 innings. And after 2 innings, you guys were still right in that ball game.
Yep. Yeah, it was great. We were after 2, we were up by a run, and yeah, so the whole game plan of trying, come out ahead, give them a pitcher they haven't seen, give us a chance to say, hey, well, let's set the pace of the game at our home field, and yeah, so looking really positive heading into the third inning.
Well, I mean, and to go back to that second inning for just a second, it was really nice to see the defense pick up the pitcher there and close out that second inning with a double play.
Oh yeah, that was a textbook double play, 4-6-3. Just how you practice, right? You go through the fundamentals day after day, and you go through, build up that muscle memory, and get a grounder, automatic. So great to see that happen.
Just the way you drew it up. Love to see that. Now, when you moved in the third inning, brought Fabian in to pitch. Before the game, there was some questions about his health leading into that. Can you kind of talk to us about that a little bit, and then what happened when he did come into the game?
Yeah, so before the game during BP, he was out in the field, collecting the balls, and he got a stinger right on his ankles. So he was off on the side, cooling it down. Then we moved into warm up, and he came back and said everything was okay, and we felt confident that we could get the 2-3 innings out of him, like the game plan had called for. Talking about Fabian coming into the third inning, it was kind of the lack of control, getting base on balls, and then bases loaded, then the triple. So at that point, the problem that we had at that point, we were actually going to go to a new pitcher. We were expecting the two innings and going to a new pitcher, but at that point we didn't have anybody warmed up to go straight away into that. So we made the pitching change at the inning.
I got you. So talk to us about any other big positives that you're able to pull from this game and something to look forward to.
Oh, sure. There were actually some really good plays mixed in among the mistakes. So we had another double play to end an inning without a score. That was Toby over there at third base. So he got the grounder, touched the bag at the third, threw it over at first for the fourth out. So that was very helpful to get out of the inning without a score. In the seventh, before they had scored a run in the 6-run seventh, they had bases loaded, and heads up from our first baseman, Ilya. He threw the ball home, got the force play at home to prevent the run.
What about on the offensive side of the ball? Did you see an improvement in the approach at the plate over the previous game?
A little bit, but it's kind of hard on such a short week to make that adjustment really fast. But we had a little bit more presence but again, we only saw 86 pitches, so compared to about 180 that we had to throw ourselves. That's just a ratio that we just can't with going into the rest of the season. And, hats off to Finn, their starting pitcher. Congratulations as well to him. He made the national team for Germany. So he's going to be representing Germany going into the U15 championships. So congratulations to him on that achievement as well.
Oh, that's outstanding. Well, I mean, you're up against some serious competition at that point. Before we move on to the hiatus and what you're trying to do there, is there one last takeaway from this game, or maybe two or three that you'd like to bring up?
I think we kind of covered it, but it's really, when we look at the errors that we made, a lot of that had to do with situational awareness and communication among the team. So being able to understand, after Ilya made that play at home with the force out, later in the game we had runners at second and third, and come back to the pitcher, and we threw it home trying to make the force out. So just kind of getting lost in the flow of the game, so being able to concentrate, that was one of the things that we ran into in the later innings, concentrating, communicating from the outfield, getting those relays, hitting those relays, so that we're not giving up extra bases behind the runners that are already there.
Well, I guess that kind of leads us really nicely then into the next section here. You've got a pretty good break before the next game. I understand it's holiday time, and so guys are shooting off in all sorts of other directions. You got some are there, some are on holiday, and the complications that come with all of that. But so during this break, you got about another 4 weeks before your next game. Do you anticipate working on some drills and working on things that might improve that team chemistry and that team communication in the games? It may really see some improvement here coming out of the break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of the things that we've been working on is the backups in the outfield, and one of the things that we're bringing into those routines for those training sessions is the communication. So as we have the backup coming in, he's looking into the infield, making sure that he knows where the ball needs to go, so that in case we need to adjust the relay home, that we're doing the relay to third, perhaps. Those kinds of things, letting people know and understand what their backup roles are, not just in case the ball gets through, but also what you need to do in order to communicate with the rest of the team. We're also focusing on a lot of the pre-pitch scenarios, understanding, okay, go through what do I need to mentally do to prepare for each pitch, because every pitch is different. It's a different count. The batter is going to be expecting something else. And so they're going to adjust maybe where they're going to hit. So we've done a lot. We're building a lot of that into the routine, and really a lot of the teamwork.
Do you have in your defensive setup a person whose responsibility it is on the field to make those defensive calls, or do you have, like, if the ball were to go to the left side, somebody making a call, versus if the ball were to go to the right side, somebody else making a call? How do you anticipate setting up that communication structure so you don't have 9 guys all yelling?
That's one of the problems.
Well, 10 if you include the coach.
You have the coach, and you have the fans, and you have everybody yelling. We're looking at what are the things that we need to know automatically, as far as where outfielders are going to be expecting to throw the ball based on the scenario, and the relay position, having the catcher really communicate well with the middle infield and relaying that in. So those are the types of things that we're working on now, is what are those standard plays where everybody might have a different idea of what a double relay may look like, understanding that we're all on the same page, and we'll see who the leader is that comes out of this training to be that communication. Just rambling off.
No, that's all right. That's all good information. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for here, especially when you have a time period like this where, sometimes you might have a week off, but have a long time off seems like a really good chance for you guys to have an opportunity to get together in a way that you haven't been able to and really work on some things. It seems as though going into these last 3 games into the season that you didn't have much of a chance to get together as a group, as a big group, until right before the season started. So hopefully this time period here provides an opportunity for you to really work on some things. And we're excited to see what the team looks like coming out of the break. Every week there's those things that are really exciting about what you guys are doing. And then it's always that 1 or 2 things that happen and it kind of starts to come apart a little bit, but there's some real promise, and we're excited to see what the ball club's able to do.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that it's really great seeing the team build and grow together. I think we mentioned in the very first episode how it's a great mix of veterans and new players with the team, and getting all those ideas and then walking through it and seeing some of those veteran players really stand up and take that role and with those discussions. So.
Well, that's great. Well, even in the last game when you threw home for the force that didn't exist, it was great to see not throwing behind the runners, and that's such a major improvement that we saw quickly in between 2 games take place, and it's great to see that sort of improvement from the club.
And it's really great too, having that film to study. We had a lot of rain this past week. I'm not sure if you've heard that in the news. There's been massive floodings and really a tragic moment for a lot of lives lost. And, so let me take this opportunity now to express my condolences for anybody. And I'll put in a banner here for anybody who wants to make donations.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I had not seen that. That's really an awful situation, and I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing all that you can to try and help everybody out. It is a community, after all. Everybody wants to play and win, but it's a community first and foremost.
But using that time, getting back, using that time to when it's raining. To go in and do those film studies. We had a great film session the first Tuesday after that game, where we were able to review all of those plays and really, especially that triple that we had to center field. We had a very long, hard discussion about what makes sense when we have bases loaded and a ball goes like that, and very helpful with that new program that we have.
Outstanding. Well, Pete, it's exciting to hear about everything that you're doing. It's very exciting that you're going to get an opportunity to finally work together as a team in depth a little bit and work on those fundamentals. And we're really anticipating when you guys come back out of the break and seeing what the club looks like and watching baseball.
Yep. And, you get to also use this break to watch Olympic baseball. It's back in Japan. So going to be exciting watching those teams back in the Olympics and going for the gold.
Absolutely, sir. Well, thanks for the time today, Pete. We will talk to you again soon. And to everybody out there, stay safe, be healthy. And it's great to talk baseball with you.
Thanks, Kevin. As always, have a good one. Take care.
Cheers.